capítulo 3. Sí, es el capítulo 3, ¿no?
The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed.
Oh, sí,
In your
cambió mal,
opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
You must leave me alone now. I have agreed to everything. Even to...
But you do realize your mother will have to accept the consequences of her acts.
I hope that your search will prove successful and bring Sarah back to us soon.
I'll be leaving now because whatever it is you're up to, I do not want to know.
Yo
Since
tampoco
then, we
quiero
have become
saberlo.
one and the same. We have officially erased the identity of my sister Emma. Emily Hillsborough. The woman with two faces.
Everyone
Wow.
seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where you are, please.
Wait, what? Me faltaba agarrar manuscritos de casualidad. Ay, la mamá nos iba a matar, la entrada a la cripta, venga. 22 de enero de 1793. ¿23 o 22? ¿De enero?
Don't move.
Cortado
Wait,
la
I
nariz,
don't-
bueno.
So you've come at last.
Easy. Let me turn around.
Deja que me dé la vuelta, señora. Joder.
Oh my god, Mother, what has happened to you?
Who are you?
What? But, Mother,
Who are you?
it's me, Louis, your son.
No, you lie.
¿De verdad
You
la
won't
drogaron?
catch me out like that. Louis isn't here. He obeys his mother. He would never have come here.
Mother, I don't know what you've been through, but lower your arm, please.
You think
Pues
I
nomás
was
tiene
born
uno.
yesterday, do you? But it won't work.
I'm begging you.
Señora, no
One day
mames,
you
su
will
hijo, no
fall.
mames.
Mother!
Why are you here?
Señora. Lord Mortimer, venga.
I received a letter from Lord Mortimer inviting me
That's
to...
enough. You want to corrupt us all, one after
¿Qué?
another. But you will never get me.
What the
You are
fuck?
evil incarnate. Every word that comes out of your mouth is sharper than a razor blade.
What the
I
fuck? ¿De qué
don't
estás hablando?
wish you
¿Qué?
any harm. Really, Mother.
Señora, ¿de qué está
It's
hablando?
me, Louis.
Don't speak to me about him. You will never get him.
Mother, stop
te lo
torturing
cogerás.
yourself. It really is me, Louis. How can I convince you?
If you really are who you say you are, what was the saying I taught you?
You've been telling it to me since I was 3 years old, Mother. How could I ever forget it? Always keep your mind rational. And open.
You knew it. You are smart. You're getting me muddled up. Tell me, rather, whose place were we at when I told you I was coming here?
Mother, I really am your son. You can't trick me. We were in Paris. We were investigating an art dealer.
His
Oh,
name?
no, no. Oh, fuck. Volhead, ¿no? Era Volhead.
His name was... Von Bullshit.
Louis would never have got it wrong, dirtbag.
Fuck. Me va a matar, güey.
It's just a detail. He lived in Paris, near the Notre Dame Cathedral. We investigated him for 3 months. He made a fortune by taking advantage of gullible collectors of Parisian high society.
You're a good actor.
He was an ancient art dealer. He had the book, Al-Azif.
And that's what you wanted to get out of me, wasn't it?
Not at all. We unmasked him, but then he came after us.
Oh,
We
no, no.
escaped, but you didn't want me to intervene. That's how I got this scar.
What? How? You can't know about that. Louis, no. Is it really you?
Sí, señora, ya maduré.
No.
Ya maduré,
no,
señora. Oh,
No.
verga, me va a soltar un
It's
plomazo,
not
güey, no
true.
mames.
It's a nightmare. Don't tell me that. Have you spoken to him?
Oh, shit. She's completely panicked because I spoke to Mortimer. It seems she's afraid of what he might have said to me about her.
Did he speak to you?
Naturally. Even though I had to wait 3 days for him to see me, we met only this morning.
You've been here for the past 3 days?
Yes, why?
If you really are who you say you are, then you'll do what I ask of you.
Which is...
A conference is going to be held. You will attend on my behalf.
No, wait, Mother. No one cares about...
You will be invited and you will go. Mortimer will present a project. Whatever this project is,
But-
whatever the project is, I want you to learn as much as you can about it. You'll have to get by as best you can, but we must find out what it's about.
Oh, no valgo
Do you
verga por las
understand?
confrontaciones, güey.
Don't
No
you
valgo
think that
verga,
before
güey.
all that, there are a few issues to be addressed?
Do you understand?
Sí, ama, sí, ya
Yes.
entendí.
All right, I understand.
I'll explain afterward, but right now you must go to the conference.
¿Es ahorita la
Go now.
conferencia?
You do realize you're still treating me like a...
Go!
If you aren't there when I get back, I warn you. One more thing, Mother. Emily Hillsborough, Emma's sister, came to this island looking for her sister. She probably won't hesitate to take revenge and...
Oh, no, no. Es hora, güey.
It's the signal that the conference is starting, Louis.
Vámonos,
Don't be
Luis.
concerned about the Duchess. She's the last of our worries.
Pero, la duquesa. Fallé en la puta confrontación, güey. Yo quería hacerla bien. Oh, me tengo que ir. Aquí está la conferencia. ¿Por dónde es la conferencia? La conferencia. Por aquí, ¿no? Me tengo que ir por aquí. Oh, espérate. ¿Es algo dorado? Por aquí había cosas doradas, ¿no? De algo del moquito dorado y la madre ahí.
Golden elixir.
Eso. Un elixir dorado bien sabroso, papi. Oye, pero ¿por qué? No sé por qué no me gané la confianza del Jacques de Perú. Digo, le dije que estaba aquí por mi mamá, lo cual era cierto. O sea, en plan, ¿qué pedo? ¿Qué onda, Jorge Videos? ¿Cómo te va? Bienvenido otra vez al canal. ¿Qué pedo? ¿Cómo te va? ¿Qué cuentas? ¿Qué dices?
Monsieur de Richet, you're the only one missing at the conference.
Sí, voy para allá.
Please join the guests.
¿No es para allá? ¿No era por allá? Ok. Pensé que era por allá. ¿Dónde es la conferencia? Pues aquí no puede ser. Tengo que estar acá. La última cena. ¿Y qué haces? Pues jugando, güey. ¿Qué más te puedo decir que estoy haciendo? Digo, no está en el baño cagando, eso es seguro.
There's the alchemical symbol of the earth on the lid.
Este sí lo tengo. Ajá. What? Pinche llave rara, güey. ¿Qué hay o qué? What? Se quedó bugueada, excelente. ¿Qué es esto? ¿Qué? Más aguardiente, un libro, notas misteriosas. Hey, desbloquear, no mames. Oh. Fuck. Pues supongo que por ahí no puedo ir. Esa tampoco,
Greek
pero
drachma.
perdí agarrar la
One of
moneda.
the rare ancient coins to be mentioned, both in the Bible and in honey.
Honey,
I
genial.
couldn't have hoped for better.
Sí, ya tengo más miel, le perdí, ya tengo más puntos, güey. Estaba bien jodido en cuestión de puntos. Este es el capítulo 3, ¿eh? Y no sé qué stream sea, el 4. Quiero pensar.
Respect to any other.
Acabando el capítulo 3, mato el directo y empieza otro directo nuevo. O juegos online y la madre. Viajes de Perú. A ver, conferencias aquí. ¿Puedo buscar algo? O sea, ¿puedo robarme algo? Digo, tiene la tendencia este güey de robarse las cosas. O sea que, aquí hay algo interesante. Me lo voy a llevar, me lo voy a bolsear. ¿En plan qué? Ok, vamos por acá.
Ah, Louis, I've been expecting you. Thank you for joining us.
No, de nada, ya
We're
sabe.
about to begin our conference. Let me explain what is at stake.
A ver.
Thank you kindly. But what do you expect of me exactly? My mother's the one who's supposed to attend, not me.
That is indeed what was initially intended. Unfortunately, she still hasn't been found, and my guests can't stay here indefinitely. The conference
La mamá
must
recibió
begin,
una paliza de
and it would
mierda,
be
güey.
truly
Se la jodió
beneficial
bien
to the
cabrón.
order
En plan,
to
qué
join
pedo.
in the project. Consequently, I would like you to replace her during her absence. What is at stake here is of the utmost importance.
It's important that the French order gets their say. And should you need any advice, don't worry. You are not alone, Louis.
Very well.
Ok, entonces puedo confiar en que me van a apoyar, ¿verdad?
Can you give me a brief explanation of the aim of it all?
Of course, Louis, I was coming to that. The aim of these meetings is to bring together the most influential people in order to think together about the future.
Un futuro brillante.
Of the world.
De nosotros, pendejo, como
Our
que ¿quién?
desire is to steer the destiny of our respective countries for the good of all, and to no longer suffer the random hazards of history.
Ok, a ver, ¿y cómo funciona la
In
conferencia?
concrete terms, how do you organize your discussions?
A conference is always organized the same way. There are two masters of ceremony
Ah, sí,
who
sí, claro,
determine
todo el
an
mundo lo
important
sabe. Sí.
subject.
You and Sir Gregory, I presume.
Exactly. We shall be the masters of ceremony. It was our obligation to each bring to the table several guests in order to debate a subject.
Oh,
Once the
obvio,
debate
claro,
is
claro,
closed,
claro.
a decision will be made by a vote of all the participants.
Sí, sí,
By
súper
a
super obvio, ¿no?
unanimous vote.
Sí, todo el mundo lo
If
sabe.
the project
Claro,
is
claro,
not
sí, sí.
agreed on by all, then it will be rejected.
And
Okay.
neither of the two masters of ceremony have the right to vote.
It's up to the guests alone to decide, Louis. In other words,
Nani?
us.
Gregory and myself are merely the go-betweens. Finally, if the project is validated, each guest goes home and starts working to make it happen.
It can take years.
Ok, entonces no podemos decirles que sí porque ahí ya está. O sea, dicen, en cuanto se valide, todos se regresan a su casa. Si no se valida, ¿qué pedo?
How long have you been active?
Oh, this tradition has more or less always existed, Louis. It has continued from generation to generation.
To generation to generation. Y luego, ¿qué ediciones importantes han logrado orquestar?
Do you often hold this kind of society dinner?
In general, once a year, but in actual fact, it tends to be events that dictate our gatherings.
Muy bien, me parece correcto.
Can you give me an example of an event that was decided here before being implemented in the outside world?
Well, take the French Revolution. It was decided right here 2 years before its implementation in France.
Concerning the case of the French Revolution, I wasn't invited. But as far as the American Revolution is concerned, Louis, I can testify that we planned it 5 years before implementing it, for
Oh,
example.
la verga. No más preguntas.
Louis, let me keep you a moment.
Ok. Váyase, señor Washington, por favor.
I
Aquí
would
no es
like to let
requerido.
you in on a secret before we begin, because I'm going to need your assistance.
Ok, supongo que va a
You
decir
see,
que quiera que diga que no.
the project I'm going to present concerns the territory of Louisiana in North America. It's currently Spanish territory, and I'm going to make the proposition to the Assembly for it to become French.
¿Fue lo de la Inquisición española eso?
My idea is to increase the territory of the United States.
Planes expandir el
The
territorio,
first
ok.
stone of this vast project consists of getting Spain to cede Louisiana
Ni
to
de pedo lo van a
France.
hacer, pero
Once it
bueno.
becomes French, France will hand it over to the United States, which will then allow them to double the size of their territory. And that's where you come in.
Sí, es lo que iba a
France
decir yo.
and the United States, hand in hand, two democracies illuminating the
Somos
world.
demócratas, perros, ¿ya ves? ¿Qué?
But why spread it over 2 phases? Why not announce the overall project immediately?
Unfortunately, if Spain were to hear that the intention of all this is to allow the United States
No,
to
no
grow,
mames, en plan,
they would
ok,
let
ok.
aside.
Estamos peleando contra
Manuel
España.
Godoy is perfectly aware of
Se la damos a los
President
franceses
Washington's appetite.
para que se la den a Estados
If
Unidos,
the United
excelente,
States
bravo.
took
No
Louisiana,
mames.
Godoy would know full well that he will have lost the entire North American continent.
Así que por este
This must take
pendejo,
place
Estados
in
Unidos es tan
several
grande.
stages.
Vaya, vaya, ¿quién lo diría?
Otherwise, the change will be too brutal, and he will have no choice but to reject the project. Take a look at them. Apart from President Washington, they all belong to monarchies. Do you really think they won't resist? Of course they'll fight, fearful as they are of losing their precious privileges. But the world needs visionaries, like you, like your mother. It's a pity Sarah isn't here to see it. She only knew about a tiny part of the project.
A ver, pues cuéntamelo a mí, perro.
I
¿en qué
hope
segundos?
I can count on you, Louis.
Claro, claro, sí.
It's
sí,
time to
claro.
start now. I must ask you to keep it to yourself for the time being. Take a seat, follow the discussions. We'll have an opportunity to catch up later, and you'll be able to let me know your thoughts.
Posiblemente lo voy a cagar lo más probable.
Brother, you didn't know about everything. His project is commendable. Why tell me to beware? Could you have gotten it wrong?
Entonces, ¿qué tengo que hacer? ¿Tengo que desconfiar del proyecto? Ya no sé.
My friends, I propose we get started. First of all, I would like to thank you for taking the time to come.
The honor is ours, my lord.
As per our custom, here we are all together to discuss the face of tomorrow's world. Even though there may be certain tensions between our nations, I must ask you to keep an open mind. As Sarah de Richet is unable to be among us, please welcome Louis de Richet, who will represent the Golden Order and will vote on its behalf when the time comes.
Welcome among us,
Welcome, Monsieur.
I hope he'll be more effective than his mother regarding the protection of the King of France. The Order has proved particularly inefficient.
Come, Manuel, you're not going to spoil our visit. The Order's mission was not to protect King Louis XVI, as far as I am aware.
We are talking about the King of Divine Blood, for goodness sake. It seemed obvious to me he needed protecting. If the Golden Order wants to pride itself on being an influential organization, it should have kept him alive.
I'm sorry about the fate of the King of France, Duke Manuel. However, I'm surprised at your remark. How can a man like me have changed the course of things where a man like you, powerful, capable of influencing international politics, was unable to do any better?
Perhaps we may begin.
Cállese, Manuel, ¿ves? Me va a filerear, güey. En una de esas quedamos ahí escondidas.
That our nations will continue to support each other. More now than ever before.
Sí, güey, hay que ponerlo en su lugar. Ya verte ese amable, güey. Luis de Richet tiene que ser un mierda con todos.
To ensure stability in the modern world.
Con Emily.
I have a dream that we shall lead by example and ensure that the American territory may remain in peace.
Thank you for the thought, Lord Mortimer. But I don't see where you're leading.
I'm coming to it, Mr. President. I need not remind you that North America is currently divided between the United States on the east coast and Spain, which occupies the remaining 2/3 of the continent. Well, I propose that Spain cede the center of the continent to France, namely all of Louisiana.
Louisiana? But, well, it is not for sale. Lord Mortimer, I sincerely hope I have not come all this way just to hear you ramble on about what Spain should and should not do. When we went to all the trouble of gaining the territory a few years ago, it was not just to lose it today. Have I made myself clear?
What did I tell you, William? You speak of union, and yet here you are, about to tear us apart.
Duke Manuel, I perfectly understand you. But rest assured, you will soon adore my proposition. You shall see.
Well, since you give me the choice, my good fellow, allow me to doubt it. However, I am impatient to hear what Spain could possibly gain from the sale of Louisiana.
I never spoke of a sale, my good fellow.
What? I do not understand.
There is one more territory left to conquer, if I'm not mistaken, in the northwest. It is, of course, occupied by your notorious Indians, but...
We shall soon be rid of the savages, so that is not the question.
Hola, verga.
Duke, these savages, as you call them, were there before you. They are on their homeland.
As much as the black people of Africa, Monsieur de Richet. That does not stop your dear France from massacring them and sending them like cattle to Mr. Washington's cotton plantations to provide him cheap labor. So you keep your morals to yourself, if you please.
Senor, I would not like to be associated with that. The subject of black slaves in the United States of America is a complex subject, which we shall resolve at a future date.
El tema de los esclavos en Estados Unidos es un asunto complejo que debemos resolver en un futuro. Desafiarlo.
Senor Godoy, you must know that France will soon ban these barbaric practices.
Oh, do not get on your high horse, Monsieur Frenchman.
Sí, no hay que desafiarlo,
The
hay que
only
desafiarlo,
reason why
¿por qué?
France has ceased trading in slaves is because of the commercial blockade that Great Britain has imposed against you. The instant the shipping
cobran
lanes have
impuestos
been
por esclavo,
restored,
verga, güey, eso se
France
declara
will again
atentado y todo el
treat
pedo.
these people like cattle.
Come now, my friends. Let us not digress. Anyway, these primitive people have no souls, Louis. We bring the good word to them in
Ese
order to
güey.
save them. You'll see. Colonization brings with it
Sí, güey, la
many
iglesia es una
benefits,
mierda,
too.
güey. Sigue siendo una
Excuse
mierda.
me, if you don't mind, Your Eminence, I shall continue. Duke Manuel, I believe that Spain should cede Louisiana to France, free of charge.
A huevo,
This is
cabrón.
utterly grotesque, Lord Mortimer. What a strange example you set for your young protege. Isn't that so, Monsieur de Richet? Do you understand anything of this proposition?
Protegería de los americanos. A ver. España no quiere nada que ver con los americanos, güey.
If I were you, Senor Godoy, I would think twice before stirring up a scandal.
I beg your pardon?
Given the size of your colonies, you won't be able to keep them for long. A number of countries are eyeing them as we speak. The United States would have no trouble taking them. For all intents and purposes, you have no army in place. By wanting to keep everything, you risk losing it all, especially your colonies in South America, which are far more valuable to you.
That
Buen
is
punto, buen
indeed
punto.
the danger, Duke Manuel. If it comes
La
to
jugué
war
bien,
in
la jugué bien, la
Louisiana,
jugué bien.
you will lose. And probably a good deal more than you now imagine.
Ya ves, mejor
Young
cederlo
man.
ahorita.
You are indeed a dark horse, aren't you?
Hombre, ya ves,
I
cabrón.
must say, William, I find your project mostly disfavors me.
Espérate tú,
I thought you were
Washington.
my friend.
And I
Espérate.
am, Mr. President. That is why I'm doing everything in my power to calm your expansionist fervor. France, in Louisiana, should persuade you not to attempt anything to take the territory by force. Louisiana is a vast wetland where you would needlessly lose most of your troops. It would weaken you and offer certain nations the perfect opportunity to take back your famous United States. I am protecting you from yourself, George. Trust me.
I understand. But with friends like you, sir, I certainly don't need any more enemies. I hope you know what you're doing.
Sí, tranquila. Relaja la raja, señora.
Am I
Política, eso.
imagining things, or does it look like Washington isn't aware of Mortimer's plan?
No mames,
Not to
obviamente
put
no
too
sabe qué
fine
pedo,
a
güey.
point on it, Lord Mortimer, but I doubt
¿Por
the
qué crees que
Holy
quiso hablar a
See
solas contigo, güey?
would
Si
be
no
in
lo hubiera
favor
hablado
of
enfrente del
Catholic
presidente. Obviamente no
Louisiana
sabe nada, güey.
being handed over to secular revolutionaries and king killers.
I should think Monsieur de Richet has an opinion on this subject, does he not?
Ah, que la verga. La verga. Ambos me cuesta lo mismo, güey. No sé, decir algo, no decir nada. Imagino como un 7, o sea, está hablando a los... Fuck.
Your Eminence, have no fear over that. I am sure France will do everything in its power to protect the Christians of Louisiana.
My young friend, how can you come out with such a remark after the discussion we had on the evening of your arrival? If France was so respectful of worship, it would not be bleeding priests as it is doing at this very moment in time. Don't be naive. This is politics. The Holy See must be concerned at seeing such a large territory falling into the hands of the French. Mi auguro che insegnerete l'educazione a questo giovanotto presuntuoso, Sir Gregory.
Hable bien, pendejo. ¿Qué es de lenguas?
Hope
that you will teach this pretentious young man some manners, Sir Gregory. It looks like I won't be just making friends here.
In any case, my lord, I doubt the English crown will agree.
Ich versichere Ihnen, Emily, nie Preußen wird diese Vereinbarung akzeptieren.
Alemán, obviamente.
I assure you, Emily, the Prussian will never accept this agreement. Volner looks like he's set on ruining Mortimer's plan.
Duchess, I am persuaded that we shall find a common ground.
That's enough, William. These are
William,
great times. We don't care about the fate of Louisiana. That worthless expanse of putrid swamps interests no one but yourself.
Speak for yourself, my friend.
Hold on there, Mr. Royal Gigolo. Lower the volume, and let Sir Gregory finish.
Sí, él está... Volmer está al lado con Gregory, güey.
Home, Godoy, and now Volner? Mortimer's adversaries are ready to tear each other to pieces, and he takes a malicious pleasure in watching it happen.
How dare
Gentlemen, let us try to remain calm.
There you are, William. See where your projects have taken us, as per usual. Chaos! That's enough. I'm tired. We shall continue this discussion tomorrow, but please be aware that your project will never be ratified.
Okay.
Those who are opposed to this project, follow me.
¿Tenemos que seguirlo o no?
Are you coming with us, Monsieur de Richet?
Come, Gregory, I think Louis would rather stay. Wouldn't you, Louis?
Vamos a apoyarlo para
As
saber
for
más.
me, I think I shall remain with Lord Mortimer, Sir Gregory.
You are committing a grave error, Louis.
Time will tell.
Sí. O sea, vamos a apoyarlo porque así nos va a revelar más del plan que tiene. O sea, los otros, pues sí, podemos investigar aparte, pero estando cerca del cabrón que tiene el plan, oye, pues es más útil. No manches. Ya
My
que se
friend,
se
I would
quedó.
like to thank you for staying.
Good God, William. What is this I hear about you reinforcing military power in Louisiana? I have no interest in having France for a neighbor, and you know that very well.
Calm down, George. Louis, explain our plan to Mr. Washington.
Ya ves.
You see, Mr. President, Lord Mortimer anticipates that once France obtains Louisiana, they will cede it to you.
What do you mean? To us? The United States?
You heard right.
But
President Washington, the United States will double in size.
By what miracle have you...
You need to expand, George. You and France are the two major democracies in the modern world.
Exacto. Ocupamos una democracia, no una monarquía. Para que vea el otro día al decir la monarquía.
Of course, Monsieur Peru. That's why I don't want Spain to get too attached to those wetlands. Please continue, Louis. Explain my vision to Mr. President.
Por supuesto. ¿Lógica o persuasión? Persuasión.
By going through France, Spain won't suspect that it's you who's going to take possession of Louisiana. They'll even believe that France will be a protective buffer between itself in California and you on the East Coast. If Senor Godoy was afraid that you might take the territory by force, now he is reassured. You would never attack France.
But why didn't you tell me before?
So that Lord Mortimer would appear to be isolated without support.
Exactly. You got it, Louis.
Lord
Oh,
Mortimer retains
claro.
the advantage
Obvio.
by advancing undercover. And for it to work, he needed you to act surprised.
William, you haven't changed. Always...
Mira, puedo haber dicho lo de siempre, estar un paso... Oh, shit. Estar un paso adelante y lo
One
hubiera
step
tirado, la verdad.
ahead. You're joking. More like 5.
On that note, my friends, it's getting late. Mr. President,
Napoleón nos quiere apoyar con la
continue to
monarquía.
take offense over my
Con la
project
monarquía,
when
con
we
la
resume the
democracia,
conference in the
genial.
morning. You do it to a T. And if Sir Gregory has the audacity to send you an emissary to convince you to go against me, do me a favor. String him along if you can. The more they believe we are divided, the more we'll have our hands free.
Only too happy to oblige.
Now, let us get some rest. We've got a big day tomorrow. Good night, gentlemen.
Buenas noches, señor. Hombre, ya se la sabe.
Louis, if you have a minute, I would like to ask a favor of you. I'm going to require your services.
¿No se han dado cuenta el pájaro?
Tell me all about it.
Our adversaries are many, and the closing vote of the conference will soon be upon us.
¿No se han dado cuenta el pájaro?
Time is of
Ahí está
essence.
muerto el pájaro, güey.
So, I need you to assist me this evening.
How can I help?
I need you to go this very evening to persuade Senor Godoy to join us. He is the backbone of Gregory's resistance.
Godoy?
Turn him round, and all the others will follow in such a stampede that Gregory will be able to do nothing but admit defeat.
Lord Mortimer, with all due respect, don't you think I'm the last person Godoy wants to talk to?
I'm sure you can do it. I believe in you.
Verga Godoy, güey.
Lord Mortimer, you're not telling me everything.
Let's say I wouldn't disapprove if the Right Honorable, though nonetheless choleric, Duke Manuel put you in his bad book.
Sí, lo más probable es
If
que me
it
tiene ahí,
could
güey.
motivate you to declare war
En un
on
bote que
France,
esté yendo camino a Francia de
greatly
regreso,
serve our
vámonos
interests.
para abajo, Esteban.
War? What do you mean?
I told you before the conference, the more we distract Spain from the Americas, the less it will have an eye on Louisiana.
But all the same, we're talking about a war in Europe.
Don't worry. That's why Mr. Bonaparte is with us. I am convinced we'll be perfectly capable of managing the conflict. And Senor Godoy is not a great soldier. He will not commit Spain to a long war that he won't be capable of managing.
I'll go straight away.
Thank you, my boy. And get some rest afterwards. Big day tomorrow.
Neta neta no te has dado cuenta que maté a que murió tu pájaro, güey. Neta, o sea, no te diste cuenta que el pájaro está muerto. ¿En serio? Ok. Excelente. Shit, güey. Eso va a repercutir, güey. En serio.
Aren't you afraid our projects for Italy may be discovered before we... Oh. Please excuse us, Louis, but I need to speak with Lord Mortimer in private.
No. What do you want, Louis?
When are we supposed to vote?
The conference resumes tomorrow morning.
Por la
There's
mañana,
little
sin
time for
desayuno ni
the,
nada.
Little favor I spoke to you about.
Indeed. I'll go straight away.
Bye.
I shall be leaving you.
Sí, o si Napoleón se entera, capaz este güey me dice, cabrón, te estoy diciendo que te caes el hocico. Capaz, ya lo veo venir, mejor lo hago yo solo, no menciono nada, venga. Intenta convencer a Manuel Godoy. Es el español, ¿no? El pinche españoleta esta. What? What am I? ¿Qué hago aquí? Señor Godoy. Sí, Manuel Godoy es el español, güey. ¿Pero dónde se está quedando? Posiblemente del lado de acá, de la derecha. Oh, lo veo, ¿qué pasó aquí, güey? Vaya.
Hey, Peru's name tag's fallen off, and his door's ajar.
Oh, what the fuck happened? Oh, la verga. Creo que esto no le va a
The
gustar a
Massacre of
nadie.
the Innocents by Rubens. A bit gloomy.
Nice decor for a Revolutionary Tribunal judge's room.
A pattern with 4 circles.
No, bye. Todavía no tengo esa llave, güey. Así que no puedo hacer la de robar.
The Massacre of the Innocents
rubiña.
by Van
La
Harlem.
la
I think that Mortimer
niña.
likes to play mind games with his guests.
Sí, claro. Mi querida niña Leonor, me gusta compartir contigo mis pensamientos más tranquilos del momento. Bla, bla, tu orgulloso padre. No, voy a poner a leer, qué hueva, güey. No me interesa la historia de la hija de este güey. Esto no es bueno.
Records of the police. Notes intended for the police lieutenant of Paris. It's a list of people under surveillance in Paris. And there's some well-known names on it.
A ver.
This is valuable information. This shouldn't be lying around.
No,
Amber crystals.
bien. Joder, está muy alto ese ámbar, Ya de 4 círculos. Oh, excelente. Así no la fuerzo, ¿ves? Ya tengo la llave de los 4 círculos. Ahora puedo abrir más cosas todavía.
A pattern with 4 circles.
Ahora podemos abrir también, creo que la de la que está en el vestíbulo, güey. ¡Hola, verga! ¿Qué es todo eso? No mames. Vaya, vaya.
Dear Monsieur Peru, I'm writing to thank you for the funds you sent. These funds will be crucial for the renovation of the
Hermana
Western
María
Wing
Elena.
orphanage. The children you sent are doing marvelously well, and little Pierre will soon be walking. Some of them still sometimes suffer nightmares about their parents on the scaffold, but I expect they will cease in due course. Should you decide to send us more, please note that another 20 beds will soon be ready. The children and myself will never thank you enough. Long live the Republic. Long... I have no space left. Dear Miss... I have no space left. I'll retrieve it later.
¿Qué? ¿Qué cosa? ¿De qué hablas? A ver, ahí está Yaques de Perú. Señor Yaques. Señor Jaque Mates. A ver si no me pego un putazo, güey.
Leave me, de Richet. I don't feel like talking.
Your door was ajar, and, well, given the state of your room, I was worried.
It's none of your business.
Dije, estaba preocupado,
Very
¿verdad?
well.
Responde.
I'll leave you then. See you tomorrow, monsieur.
¿Qué? What? What?
I asked you to leave me alone.
Ok, bye. No presiones, Esteban, no presiones. Ya lo veo venir con un puñal en la mano para apuñalarme o algo, no sé. Ok, aquí no podemos entrar. Aquí tampoco. Aquí sí. ¿Qué es? ¿Pero what? ¿Dónde estamos aquí, güey? What the fuck?
My dear Napoleon.
¿Esto es de Napoleón? ¿Qué chingos hago aquí en Napoleón? ¿Qué? ¿Qué hago en la casa? ¿Qué hago en la puerta de Napoleón, güey? What the fuck? Ok, vámonos de aquí, güey. Esta es la habitación de Napoleón. Ok, la que está al lado es de Napoleón. Ajá. ¿Y este quién es?
Monsieur Napoleon Bonaparte.
Sí, Bonaparte, obviamente. Sí, pues pensé que estaba al lado. Emily Hillsborough. No. Hey.
Ah, Monsieur de Richet. You wouldn't have seen Duke Manuel by any chance, would you?
I was going to ask you the same question.
I wanted to speak to him, but no one will open the door. I'm not sure he's in there.
If I want to pass through, I'll have to get Volner out of the way.
A la verga, 4, no mames. A la verga, qué pedo, güey. Hacer que se marche.
Perhaps he didn't hear you. Did you try entering?
No, of course not. It would not be proper, after all.
Sí, sí, sí. Sí, obvio. Es que también puede ser algo rudo, ¿sabes? Este güey tiende a soltar la lengua un chingo. Pero...
He won't let me by. I'll have to find another way of getting into the damned room.
Es decir, puedo utilizar mi propia puerta, ¿sabes? O sea, entro desde mi cuarto, me voy por allá afuera y entro desde fuera. Más fácil. Esto sigue siendo mi cuarto. Esto es el cuarto del señor acá.
Manuel Godoy. A painting of himself in his room. Now that's not going to help him develop a sense of modesty.
Okay. Señor Duque, aquí tiene la información que ha obtenido nuestros servicios de inteligencia. Puedo confirmar sin ninguna duda que el señor... Ay, fuck, se me quebró. El señor Ay está trabajando en un acuerdo con Gran Bretaña. El objetivo puede ser debilitar la economía francesa y en secreto también la española.
Mary Louise of Parma. How ironic having a painting of the Queen of Spain in one's room, my Lord Duke.
utiliza muchos puntos y ocupo los puntos. Ahorita no tengo muchos. ¿A qué se le hago al Carmen? Ok.
Mary Louise
¿Hacer
of
algo?
Parma.
No sé, fijarse en algo.
How ironic having a painting of the Queen of Spain in one's room, my Lord Duke. It looks like someone's hidden something on the back of this painting. It's a letter.
A ver, mira.
Of course, it's written in Spanish. And it reeks of lavender. Well, well, Mr. Godoy. You seem very interested in hiding this letter.
Tiene una morrita y una
Another
pupilla.
secret romance,
Genial.
I presume? So, let's see what it says.
Me le caga, me siento muy culpable por estar lejos de ti, no, aunque sea por el bien de mi país. Me siento fatal por haber tenido que marcharme tras una estúpida discusión. Ya que eres la mujer a la que amo, Josefa. Josefa. Para siempre. Ya te lo he dicho antes, todo lo que tengo, todo lo que puedo ofrecerte, se lo debo al efecto de la reina. Sigamos unidos, por favor, incluso en el sacrificio por nosotros y por nuestros futuros hijos. Hola, a ver, qué intenso el güey. Deja de ponerte celosa, tú eres la única que se ocupa de mis pensamientos. Todo lo demás es un juego, te lo juro.
It seems that the Queen isn't the only one enjoying the Lord Duke's favors.
Con el bote en ambos
If the
lados,
Queen found out, it would cost him dearly. I'll keep it with me. You never know.
¡Oh! Y la vamos a utilizar para convencer a Godoy. Oh, vaya, vaya. Quiero ver si lo puedo convencer de manera tranquila y civilizada sin necesidad de sacar la carta. Veré. Bien, genial. ¿Qué es esto?
The Kiss of Judas, painted by Caravaggio. This is how Judas points Don Quixote. Talking without thinking is like shooting Prometheus, punished for stealing fire from the gods and giving it to man.
De hecho fue condenado a morir todo el tiempo, ¿no? Prometeo.
Brutus and his companions taking an oath to kill Caesar.
Oh, la verga. Salvajes, güey. Se nota que antes resolvían la cosa de manera...
Charles IV of Spain. Now there's no chance of Godoy forgetting who he owes everything to.
Un libro, genial, nobleza de la espada.
Amber.
Ámbar, genial. ¿Y qué es esto? Elixir dorado. Ok, aquí no está el... Aquí no está el señor español este, así que podemos irnos. No salgas por la puerta, obviamente. Por aquí. Si sales por la puerta va a ser un pedo porque vas a chocar con Wolsen. ¿What? No voy a entrar por aquí. Sí, vas a hablar con el otro tipo y no queremos eso, güey. La verdad. Al menos yo no quiero eso. Ahora está mi habitación. Oh, esta no es. Esta. Y aquí ya lo buscamos desde en otro lado. Puede estar abajo, en el comedor, lo más probable, no sé. ¿Ves? Está todavía ahí. Yo creo que debe estar abajo, pero voy a checar acá también por si las moscas, ¿no? Digo, puede estar en cualquier lado, güey. No se parece, no parece estar por aquí, así que vamos por acá, güey. Duran más o menos 2 horas cada capítulo, así que no está tan... Vamos por aquí. Hola, a ver, ¿dónde estoy? What the fuck? ¿Dónde estoy? Ahí estuve aquí. No. Esto es en el jardín, ¿no? Acá no puedo. Ok, tengo que pasar todo este lado. What? Está derecho. Bien. Ya me llegó mi recompensa del Twitch Prime. Del drop de Rust. Acá la reclamo. tengo la del Trickster. Vale, vale. Oh, esta ya la puedo abrir, ¿no?
The lock is surrounded by a triple circle.
Ah, pero es una triple, ¿no? Puedo dar una cuarteta.
Duke Manuel?
Well, well. Monsieur de Richet, I was not expecting you. I am not in the mood, sir, I warn you. What do you want from me, sir?
I see you're still feeling under pressure. Since your arrival, I've noticed that you've been on the defensive. It seems to me that Monsieur Peru has a knack for getting your back up.
That is the least you can say. Indeed, I was warned. I knew what to expect. For God's sake, why in the hell did your people execute their king? Have the French gone stark raving mad? There are nothing but monarchies in power in Europe. They will all come crashing down on you.
We shall see. It might, well, turn out to be the opposite.
You certainly do not lack for audacity, young man.
Just
tell me one thing, monsieur. Why did you side with Mortimer? He is alone, isolated. The United States
No puedo
can do
decirle lo de
nothing
Estados
to help
Unidos.
you, and France is surrounded by over 10 countries, just waiting for the word to pounce. Really, I do not see why you choose Mortimer.
Que va a vencer a Holm.
Oh, it's really quite simple, you know. Whose place are we at? Who can manage to bring together so many influential figures under the same roof?
Technically, Sir Gregory brought more guests than Mortimer.
Yes, but in whose name? Who organized the party, Senor Godoy? Who pays the bills? And you are forgetting something fundamental. Who has the biggest army nowadays?
Yes.
There's no shame in admitting that France is militarily superior to you. That's why you're considering joining forces with other European countries in order to confront us.
I agree that Mortimer does have some powerful assets. Tell me, do you really believe Spain has any interest in ceding Louisiana to France?
Esta está buena porque sí realmente.
First of all, the question is to know what Louisiana can be used for. We agree that today, all it brings you is death. Every day, a few more Spaniards die far from their birthplace.
I cannot deny that Louisiana is a veritable quagmire. You have a point there. Tell me one last thing. What would I gain from all this?
No. Consolidar su posición.
My Lord Duke, in these uncertain times, I believe it would be to your advantage to be rid of Louisiana in order to focus your attention on your colonies in the south. It will show the court the man you really are and how much you truly deserve your position.
And it will silence all the jibes and jeers aimed at my person. Then people would only see me as the man who consolidated the frontiers of the Spanish Empire.
Me fue bien, ¿eh? Me fue la primera vez que me va bien.
Fool, give it up. You're trapped like a rat.
Monsieur, I am astounded. I did not think you capable, but you have succeeded. I will be more wary of you the next time. Nonetheless, if you can guarantee Lord Mortimer's support, then yes, you can count on my vote when the time comes. However, I expect you to be discreet with regard to my former partners, without which our agreement will become null and void.
Okay, no puedo decir
my Lord Duke.
nada.
You can
Nada de
count
lo
on
de
me.
Manuel. De que no,
Lord
Manuel ya se viene
Mortimer
con
will be
nosotros. Nada.
delighted to hear the news.
I hope you know what you are getting into, Louis. I bid you good luck.
Good night, my Lord Duke.
See you tomorrow.
Well, that's one thing out of the way. The only thing left to do is wait for the conference to resume tomorrow morning.
Ya me puedo ir a dormir, ¿no? Está la cama. Y supongo que apruebe el capítulo primero del capítulo 3. Excelente. Ah, déjale, digo.
Ah, Monsieur de Richet. You wouldn't have seen Duke Manuel by any chance, would you?
I just ran into him. He was heading for the dining room.
Ah, thank you.
De nada. Y ya cuando lo mandé ahorita a hablar con él, y cuando regrese, ey, ya lo convenció a ese cabrón. A ver, todo está planeado, todo está planeado. Ustedes relájense, relájense. A dormir, vamos, venga. Nada más que te da otro ataque. A ver. Ni fuiste a ver a tu mamá ni nada, güey. ¿Qué pedo?
Good evening, Monsieur le Français.
Duchess, you're here. What a charming surprise. I'm beginning to think you can't be without me.
You have managed to penetrate my armor,
Oh, la
sir.
verga.
Am I disturbing you, perhaps?
No.
That's not what I said.
Ah, by the way, you surprised me during the conference.
Why's that?
Okay.
Well, you are going to lose. Why stay with Lord Mortimer?
I believe he has every chance of winning.
My, you are a rash one. However, if ever you want to change sides, please feel free to let me know.
But tell me, you didn't come here to try and make me change my mind, did you?
That's the last thing on my mind. Although you would have everything to gain by it.
A ver, okay.
Do you perhaps know something that I don't? Come on, Emily. It's time you lay your cards on the table. If you know something I don't about Lord Mortimer, now's the time.
I don't want to speak ill of him, but in certain circles, you can't exactly say he has a good reputation.
Continue.
Well, there have been instances where he has used people, then gotten rid of them once he no longer seemed to need them, Louis. He makes fine promises, makes you feel valuable, tests you. But beware. I'm worried that something might happen to you.
Are you advising me to change sides as a precaution?
I'd rather say as a safety measure. Louis, if you trust me, you ought to ask yourself why I have chosen home. You do trust me, don't you?
Of course, Emily.
Admit, though, that it does make you think. There's still time, you know. Join us before it's too late.
Nope.
Unfortunately, my word is my bond. I don't want to leave Lord Mortimer in the lurch.
Very well, as you wish. It's up to you to decide.
Tell me, are these visits to Mortimer's always so intense?
Yes and no. My sister doesn't normally disappear like she has. Any news of your mother?
Oh, sí.
I've seen her, Emily.
What? When was that?
A little earlier, just before the conference. She was hiding.
And did you manage to speak to her?
She's not the same. I don't know what's been happening to her, but she's changed. I found her in a deplorable state with one of her hands cut off. I mean, she was saying crazy things, bordering on delirium.
What? Did you say one of her hands was cut off? What happened to her?
I don't know. She wouldn't say.
And did she tell you why she shot Emma?
No. Unfortunately, we were unable to broach the subject. She seemed terribly upset, Emily. There's something strange going on here. She was fearful of something or someone.
Excuse me, Louis, but until we see proof of the contrary, she's the one who is sowing death everywhere she goes.
Okay,
We
tranquilo.
are the ones
Aceptable,
who ought to be
aceptable.
fearful.
I know.
No, I apologize for that remark.
Voy por algo más rápido. Sigamos, señores.
Who do you think she's hiding from? Mortimer?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yo también pienso que es el
Louis,
Mortimer.
I don't want to pile it on, but I would understand her feelings there. You ought to be wary of Mortimer. He's a manipulator, a liar, a coward who doesn't assume his responsibilities at all.
What exactly happened between you two, Emily? You're so radically against him.
Can we change subject, please? I didn't come here to go through all that again.
Of course, it's late. You're right.
Ajá, hoy sí coges, hoy sí coges. Madre, abre la boca de perdida, no sé, métela. Ay, 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 ay. Chicos, no vean esto, tápense los ojos. Es muy pronto.
Come, Louis.
Oh. Madre santa, Mother of God, ¿qué estamos viendo? Sexo innecesario. ¿Has soñado, güey?
My friends, do not worry. I assure you that Lord Mortimer's plan will never see the light of day. I shall deal with informing our allies, but for the time being, I need you to make a stand.
What do you think about Monsieur de Richet?
I don't know yet. I feel there's great potential in him.
He looks like he can be trusted. And Duchess Hillsborough. Why isn't she here?
She's busy. Don't worry about her.
Oh, isn't it time to replace her?
Not so fast, sir. She is an important figure. You ought to have a little more faith in her.
¿La están utilizando también ellos?
About Washington. He will be a hard nut to crack. On our chessboard, he is Mortimer's king.
Don't worry. Mr. President only wants one thing. To keep his dear America united.
Obvio.
He won't jeopardize everything he has achieved on a whim.
He has been serving Mortimer for quite some time. It won't be easy to bring him around. Do you feel all right, Mr. Godoy? You haven't said a word.
Please excuse me, gentlemen. I feel tired.
Oh, I see. I think it is high time you left us then. Now!
What? Holy shit, güey, neta, ve con un
doctor, ese pedo está mal,
Ay, Dios, va a morir de hemorragia como Sanji a la verga. En serio, ni siquiera te limpiaste, o sea, te acostaste, o sea, la cama bien puede estar toda cochina y todo.
Emily?
Ya se fue, güey, obviamente, nomás te usó.
Emily? Are you there?
Te sacó el jugo y se fue.
Sir, the conference is about to begin. You are expected in the conference room.
Tell them I'm coming. Thank you.
Tell them I'm coming.
Come on, Louis. The game is back on.
Venga, vamos a hacerla bien ahora, güey.
My friends, the conference is about to begin.
Gracias.
Please excuse me if I troubled you last night with my project. I understand that you might well have a few questions to ask. As you know, the final vote will be cast in a few days.
¿Qué? ¿No que en la mañana?
This
¿Ahorita?
morning's aim is to answer your questions
okay.
and check the temperature of your respective positions so that we may reach a greater understanding.
As always, Lord Mortimer.
We parted in perfect disagreement, my lord. Where would you like us to take it from?
Come, sir. Please let William believe he still has a chance of winning us over. Otherwise, his imprecations will lack panache, and we shall be bored stiff.
Oh,
¿Qué no se supone que ambos son mediadores? ¿Que no deben de votar ni nada, ni influir ni nada? ¿Qué pedo, güey?
This morning will be even more interesting. Therefore, I would like to go around the table in order to hear everyone's first impressions.
Well, I am still firmly against it, even though my choice won't count.
Against.
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 And you, Duke Manuel?
Well, you see, it is more complicated and it...
Godoy? Calm, Gregory. Don't try to impress my guests, please.
They are not your guests.
Gregory, anyone under my roof is by definition my guest. You included. I would be very grateful if you would let my guests speak.
Solo eres el pinche sirviente, güey. Así, ubícate, por favor.
Well, you see, the situation has changed since last night.
What's going on here, my Lord Duke?
You see, I gave it some thought during the night. New arguments have come to light.
Ya ves, ya ves.
What do you mean, Duke Manuel?
Sir Gregory, I regret to inform you that Spain will not support you in this operation. I vote for. Moreover, in response to arguments brought to my attention,
I declare war on France!
What?
¿Qué?
What is he doing?
If you think France is afraid of you, you are dreaming.
Over 10 nations rise against you, young man, and you behave like a yapping little dog?
When the French armies are at your door, my Lord Duke, you will change your tune.
The fuck? ¿Por qué se puso tan
As
loco?
for me, I am for Lord Mortimer's project, despite Duchess Hillsborough's overwhelmingly convincing nocturnal attentions.
What? So Emily was playing at trying to win over guests last night?
It was nothing more than a friendly little chat, of course.
How could it be otherwise? And by the way, remember me to your husband when you see him. And you, President Washington. what is your
Se la
position?
cogió también el güey.
4, of course.
Well, that leaves just yourself and Monsieur Peru, Louis.
You're all making me sick. Look at yourselves.
What?
You are pathetic!
Have you been drinking or what?
There you are, quibbling away. My Lord Duke this, and Madame Duchess that. You know very well that we're nothing but puppets on a damn string.
Jacques, really?
Let's end the charade. It's over.
Jacques.
My lord, thank you for everything you've done for me over the years.
¿Qué pasó, güey?
It didn't come for free. And now I see the price is too high to pay. I'll stop.
Come, Jacques, we'll talk it over.
No, I'm finished. I want my freedom back, my lord. I shall no longer work for you.
Wait!
De Richet, you just can't help it, can you? Stop trying to play the hero, man!
Monsieur, I know I don't really know you, but you seem like a decent person.
I have done so many horrible things!
You blame yourself, I can see that. Everything's not lost.
I don't want to do bad
Podemos
things
salvar las
anymore.
cosas,
You
güey.
can take control
Tranquilo.
of yourself again. You can fix whatever it is
Este
you've
capítulo está
done.
largo, eh. Se me hace que lo voy a dejar cuando acabe.
Of course, Jacques. You'll have all the time you need. Jacques, you're not alone.
There's nothing you can do against him.
Of course there is. We've already started.
How can you say that, knowing he's already probably gotten rid of your mother, Louis?
No, he hasn't. She's still here. She's alive, Jacques.
But...
Yes, trust me. Come on, Jacques. Stop now, before it gets any worse. Give me the gun, please.
I wasn't gonna fire at anyone, you know.
I know.
A huevo. Easy
I
peasy,
don't want
güey.
him to talk to me.
Don't worry, you're safe now, Jacques.
Todo bien, ya que es de Pajú.
Monsieur Peru, you could have seriously hurt someone if Monsieur de Richet here hadn't stopped you. Your behavior is unacceptable. You would do better to go and rest in your apartment. My friends, we shall continue the conference later. I would like to apologize for the inexcusable behavior of my guest. We all need to recover from all of this excitement. Take the rest of the day off.
Muy bien. Nos fuimos. Menos Sara, vale verga, güey. A ver, aquí utilizo bastantes estos nivel 2 están bastante bien, la verdad. Creo que política es la opción aquí, güey. También ocupo subirle de manipulación y toda la madre, pero aquí, no, ya al rato las...
I don't understand. I spoke to him only recently.
Monsieur Peru has lost his mind. It's obvious.
Yet another way for the French to make a spectacle of themselves. Well, once again, it has worked.
My friends, let us settle down, please. We are all in shock, of course. Let us celebrate Louis's courage. He enabled us to avert a tragedy.
Yes, that was very noble of you, Louis.
You have given us all a fine lesson in courage.
Thank you.
He owes you his life. That's quite something.
That madman deserves to die.
We are providing Monsieur Peru with care, but rest assured, he is no longer a danger to himself or anyone else. I think everyone needs a little rest. Can you stay a moment?
Of course.
Me la chupas. Ah, le voy a decir eso. Me la chupas. Por favor. Vas a ver que mata al pájaro, voy a reclamar.
Louis,
Me lo va a echar en cara, güey.
I wanted to thank you personally. I admire what you did to save Monsieur Peru's life. You have given us all a wonderful lesson in courage.
Don't mention it, my lord. You would have done the same. I was just quicker.
Ah, humility is a fine quality, sir.
Where is he now?
In his room. I've sedated him. I don't want him trying to take his life
Con
again.
una pinche cuchara y-
Or worse yet, attacking one of the guests. When in despair, Monsieur Peru is clearly a dangerous man.
Pues casi mole a golpes a la pinche blanca esta.
Tell me, my lord, can you think of any reason why he would be so terrified of you?
Terrified? Come now, that's a bit harsh. I think he was simply unable to put things into perspective. I see no reason to fear me. Ask President Washington. I don't believe I'm such a difficult friend.
Having spoken to him, I can assure you that he feared you even more than death itself. Had he disappointed you in any way recently?
Of course, he was on the edge. He was desperate, and it grew noticeable in his work. Our collaboration was probably coming to an end, but I certainly didn't feel the need to threaten him, ever.
But without you, no more support, no more money. It was an end to his social status. If you lost, he lost everything, didn't he?
No, not his life.
Thanks to me, I guess. On that note, my lord, I'll be leaving you. Have we covered everything?
Absolutely. Oh, Louis, one more thing, please. I wanted to thank you for your support during the conference. You've made the right choice, and it gives me tremendous satisfaction to have you with me on this project.
What is at stake is worth it, my lord. Now, I won't hide from you the fact that I have no idea by what miracle we could ever get a unanimous vote.
Trust me, Louis. We still have a few more cards to play. You'll see.
A ver, show
Anything
them to
can
me,
happen
bro.
in politics.
I'll see you later, my
La
lord.
neta, güey, pinche política es un asco. Muy intenso, Uf. Casi nos mata uno aquí, güey, a la verga. No iba a disparar. Mis huevos, iba a disparar el cabrón. No. Acá. Creo que es por ahí, la neta no sé.
Either to you or to someone else. Impossible to tell with you people.
Yes, sir.
Your yes is not.
Monsieur Bonaparte.
Louis, once again, bravo for what you did.
Gracias,
If it
gracias.
weren't for you,
Naraku,
Peru would have blown his
Naraku,
brains out.
Ki. Hola,
You've
señor.
got
¿Cómo te
courage.
va? ¿Qué
I
onda?
like this.
Señor.
We just lost the
¿A poco
vote
estoy
for
tan
the next
viejo?
conference,
No mames.
and we already had
Chale,
fewer
güey, esta
votes
me
than
dicen
hoped.
don, señor.
I
No
must
manches.
absolutely find a
mal pedo.
solution.
¿Cómo te va, Naraku? Debo encontrar una solución sin falta.
Yes, indeed. But I believe if Lord Mortimer is still confident, it's because he still has a few cards up his sleeve.
I hope so. I sincerely hope so. Unfortunately, that vote of Godoy you acquired
Nah, tenemos
is
que conseguir
probably
otras
not
cosas,
going
güey.
to suffice.
Well, it's still more than what you've done, isn't it?
I see you have a short fuse, monsieur.
Oh, la verga,
As
güey.
someone who just started a war with Spain, if I were you, I wouldn't get on my high horse so quickly.
Hola, senor.
In short, we have
Eso
a
es
minute to
eslovaco.
lose.
Hablo
I
español,
leave you
pero
alone.
solo un
Just
poco.
a minute.
Yo no sé eslovaco, lo siento. Pero, ok, es que pensé que te faltó la ñ y con la en senor, en lugar de la n pones una ñ, es señor, como para referirte a alguien grande.
What did Duchess Hillsborough propose last night?
Oh, nothing worth worrying about.
La
The
vagina.
pretty little pudding eater found no better tactic than to threaten me. She would have been better off sliding into my bed. At least we wouldn't have wasted part of the night talking for nothing.
Ah, no se metió con ella, ¿o qué?
Threatened you, you say?
That's what I said. I think I'm going to have to be careful of English troops crisscrossing the Mediterranean for a while. The witch.
Pero bienvenido, mi amigo eslovaco.
Saludos desde México, a ti y a toda tu familia.
Luego te invito a unos tacos bien sabrosos si vienes a México alguna vez, Naraku.
Time is running short, and as
¿Qué
I
tal?
said,
¿Qué
I'm in a
cuentas?
hurry. I have to go now.
¿Cómo te va a
I
ti?
will see
El
you
día de
later.
hoy. Dale, nos vemos, señor Bonaparte. O sea, nuestra querida. Ah, este es de Jacques de Perú. De Perú. Y acá está mi cuarto, ¿eh? Qué bueno que vine por este camino, así me topé a este verga de acá. Genial, ¿eh? Estás aprendiendo un nuevo idioma. Todo bien. Yo quería aprender alemán, pero me he dado huevo estos días. Está haciendo mucho frío, la neta no he visto nada en internet.
Next time, I'll
¿Cuántos de
listen to my mother.
ustedes están ahí?
That day has gone by without something happening.
¿A qué te refieres? ¿Cómo que cuántos de nosotros estamos aquí?
What now?
¿Mi mamá? ¿Es mi mamá? ¿La mamá de
Louis,
este Luis? Ah.
open up, please.
Coming, Mr. President, I'm coming.
Ah, es Washington.
Louis. Ah, there you are at last.
Yes,
I just saw your mother. She was accompanied by Emily, and they both went into the Duchess's room. I tried to join them, but I was refused entry. Louis, this does not bode well.
Oh, shit. Emily might want to avenge your sister. I must act quickly.
You're right, Mr. President. Thank you.
Ir a ver qué pedo. Vamos con la jefa. A ver, entramos por acá, es por acá. No te entendí, Naraku, con eso de que cuántos de ustedes están ahí. No sé si puedas explicarte a eso que te refieres. O sea, estoy yo, mi perra y mi perro. Somos los únicos que estamos aquí. O sea, si eso es a lo que te refieres. ¿Quién ven conmigo?
Emily! Emily, are you there? Answer me. Emily!
¿Cómo podemos entrar? A la verga.
Impossible. I can't do it. There's something blocking it on the other side. I've got to find another way in.
A ver, vámonos de aquí, güey. A lo mejor desde Jacques de Perú, desde la casa de Jacques de Perú, podemos entrar hasta allá, ¿sabes? Napoleón estaba allá, así que no le importa que entre por aquí, así que vamos a darle.
I have to get inside Emily's room through the... Shit! It's locked.
What?
No way. It's too sturdy.
Sí, güey, siento que me van a cobrar un huevo, güey. Voy a intentar con la de Jacques de Perú. Digo, Perú está dormido, está sedado, así que... dudo que haya entrado por allá. Así que podemos intentar aquí.
Come on, for Christ's sake, Peru. Wake up! De Richet, what do you want?
Oh, great. He doesn't look inclined to let me pass. Get rid of him.
Don't make me repeat myself.
A la verga, este güey es...
What are you here for? You wouldn't be in cahoots with Peru by any chance now, would you?
Absolutely not. I only came here to check on Monsieur Carew. His catatonic state seems to be beyond traditional medicine.
Listen here, de Richet. Don't take me for a pigeon. There's nothing odd about Peru. Mortimer has simply sedated him. There's nothing out of the ordinary about that, so find something else to say. What are you here for? You wouldn't be in cahoots with Peru by any chance now, would you?
Of course I am. We're both French, so It's obvious we're both involved in all the same shady activities.
No, that's not what I meant.
And you know what they say about the French.
A ver, ¿qué dicen?
Don't make me say what I didn't say.
Right. Find a way of getting rid of him, Louis. Otherwise, he won't leave you alone.
I am persuaded that Mortimer has a secret room somewhere in the manor. If I'm here, it's obviously because Perrault must know where it is. But you might even know about it. Do you?
Look, if Mortimer really has a secret room, you ought to try in his study, don't you think?
Probably, yes.
Anyhow, that's where I would have built one.
I'll go and see in his study. But I'm warning you, de Richet. If you're taking me for a ride, I'll make you regret it.
Right.
Gracias.
That's one thing out of the way.
Está bien sedado, güey. No mames, velo, está todo tan catatónico el cabrón. Oh, todo drogado, güey.
Monsieur! I don't want to.
A la verga.
I won't. No, Dutcher, no!
Oh, man. I don't know what Mortimer's given him, but he's not looking all there. He's in a... I've seen patients after a major trauma before, but nothing like this. Mortimer has spared no effort to calm him down.
¿Verdad?
Let's see what he has on it.
Le está robando, güey. Te digo, este güey no tiene sentido de la privacidad. No mames, o sea. Pues vámonos. Corta la ventana, ¿no? ¡Ajá! ¿Ves? Sí podía salir por aquí, ¿ves? Yo sabía. Esto es lo de Napoleón y esto es lo de la vieja, así que... Aquí no... Aquí.
Huh. It's as if there are several people inside.
Whoa, what the fuck?
What on earth is... You... Mother?
How dare you do this to me? You can talk after everything I've done for you.
What?
You are joking, I hope, right? I gave you my life. That's enough, Emma. Now that Louis is here, you will leave Sarah alone. Cease your revenge immediately. What? If you think you're going to... Louis, help me, I beg you. I can no longer reason with her. I am Emily. Quit playing games. What? Honestly, don't be ridiculous. No. I am Emily. You are wasting your time. Louis knows very well how to tell us apart. After everything we've been through together.
Yes, well...
Don't you dare bring him into this. This is between you and me. I ask for nothing more, so stop taking it out on Sarah. You prissy little bitch! How dare you? Now that I've told you everything, you want to take my place, do you? You are
What
joking,
the
I
fuck?
hope. I'm the one who told you everything that's been going on while you were away. Go on then. That's what you want, isn't it? You want to kill me. Go on then, shoot! After all the trouble I've gone through to find you. Go on.
No frío.
What are you waiting for?
No, pues ya
Here,
ves.
Louis, take this.
Wait, what's going...
An entire life for this. Go on, shoot! Sorry, Louis, I can't shoot her. She's my sister. That's enough, Emma. Louis, out of the way. She's dangerous. Don't trust her. What are you trying to do? Louis, out of the way. I am not Emma. Come on, Louis, tell her who the real Emily is.
Wait,
That's right, Louis. I'm fed up with this little game. Tell him who the real Emily is.
Why do these things always happen to me?
Las cosas más
Louis,
raras.
come on, you know how to tell us apart, right?
Yes, but I'd like to ask you a few questions to make sure there's no doubt. Rational and open, Louis. Let's see. How can I tell them apart? Wait, I've got an idea. On the night of our arrival...
¿Qué me dio?
You handed me something.
I wasn't feeling very well, and you handed me something. What was it?
My handkerchief, and you stained it with your blood. You still have it, as a matter of fact. But she already knows all this, Louis. It's a waste of time.
Right.
Aunque no
Let's
sepa.
find something else. Ah, yes. Let's speak about my arrival at the manor.
La adelante.
On the night of our arrival, we were warming ourselves in front of the fire. Mortimer welcomed us in a very odd way. What happened?
It won't work, Louis. It wasn't Mortimer who welcomed us. It was Sir Gregory. Sorry, Louis. I already told her.
Very well.
Let's try something else.
On the first night, we went up to bed, but I wasn't tired. I went for a little stroll.
A la de atrás.
Do you remember if we saw each other that night or not?
No, not after going up to bed. That doesn't prove a thing. I was the one who told you that. Don't think you're going to get away with this deception so easily. I can assure you, you're going to regret pretending to be me once Louis has exposed you.
Right. I don't think I'll get very far like this. I'll have to find something better.
Oh, I don't think I'll even wait until he's finished.
Take it easy now.
Are you mad, Louis?
Lower your arm. I'd better act quickly if I don't want things to get out of hand.
Come on, she's putting one over on you.
Güey, ni se están
Look
apuntando
at
ni siquiera, o sea, tú ni le estás
crying
apuntando,
out
ni le estás
loud.
apuntando,
You
no
were
mames.
prepared to shoot me down.
In the secret room behind the study. Talk to them about what you've been doing. Maybe they haven't spoken about it between each other yet.
On the night of the disappearance of Elizabeth Adams.
What about it? What do you want to know about that night?
We found ourselves in Mortimer's secret gallery. What relics did we find?
Property deeds in Mortimer's name dating from very long ago.
Is that all?
You mean all those mythological charms? So there was the so-called Pandora's box that wasn't a box actually. The famous golden fleece that reeked of dead goat. A broken sword that could have belonged to anyone. Is that enough?
Yes, that's enough.
You look captivated. Of course, he bought it. That's enough! I've had enough of this charade. Louis, there's only one way to tell us apart. There's just one thing I didn't tell her about in detail. Too bad for you, Emma. I didn't want it to come to this, but you leave me no choice. Ask her about you and I. You just lost, Emma. I indeed didn't tell you everything about it. Come, Louis. Speak about our intimacy.
Very well, let's talk about us.
Oh, Dios.
Last night, you came to visit me, and I can't help wondering why. Why did you come to my room?
Louis, you must be mistaken. I did not go to your room last night, and that's where your little game ends, Emma. Because I never told you about it. So, there you can't answer. What? No! You didn't do that. I didn't want you to be jealous of Louis. Remember how you always used to react whenever you felt you were competing against a man? You dirty...
That's enough. I've had enough of this charade. That's enough, both of you. Now I know who the real Louis is.
What?
It's you, Emily.
No, Louis! She is manipulating you!
No, Emma. It's her. I know it. Despite all the trouble you've gone to put one over on me, I know it is her.
That's enough now, Emma. You little slut! Don't think you are going to get away with this so easily. You are going to stop your little game right now. Never! I am Duchess Hills... no!
What the fuck?
Emily?
I am the Duchess.
But...
You don't. Dear God, what have I done? See what you've done. See?
Louis?
Mother!
What on earth is...
Go away. You must go. Everyone is going to arrive.
Louis, what's going on?
Duchess, is everything all right?
Come on, Louis. There's nothing more you can do.
But
Leave us.
Emily,
What's
going on?
Mother, go to the crypt. I'll meet you there.
I'll be waiting for you.
Emily.
Madam, I am coming.
¿La atiné? Uy,
It
menos
was
mal, güey.
bound to end like this, Louis. Let me stay with her. Please. Go. I'll cover you.
Pero sí es Emily, ¿verdad? Bye. Besos, sayonara. Oh, fuck. ¿Qué? ¿Qué hago en el de Napoleón?
Good God. They're all here. They must have heard the gunshot.
Where is
Sí, no
Lord
mames.
Mortimer? Can anyone hear anything through the door?
Did you hear that? I was not dreaming, was I?
Certainly not, Duke Godoy.
What's going on?
Someone had the bang coming from the Duchess's room, and she isn't answering.
Gentlemen, go back to your rooms. Go back to your rooms. I shall find out from Lord Mortimer what this is all about.
Ok.
Thank you.
Ok. Dudo que esas dos caras nos ha doble careado. Pero sí la atiné, ¿no? ¿Sí es Emily? Es Emily. Ah, fuck. Tengo que ir hasta el jardín. Qué hueva, güey. Había algo ahí. Una moneda. ¿Qué? ¿No la había encontrado antes? Tener que pasar todo esto. Verga, güey, se puso intenso. Pero sí la atiné, ¿verdad? Quiero pensar que sí la atiné. Quiero pensar. Matemática. Ah, se me hace que no me va a acabar este y ya le dejamos ahí. Mother, please, mother. Okay. Oh, Dios, te hacen caminar un huevo, güey. Mother,
Louis,
mother.
at last, there you are.
¿Qué cosa?
Mother, wait,
Come, we have to be quick.
No, wait, Mother,
Time is running out, Louis. First, we must...
No! That's enough. I won't go a step further unless you explain to me what is going on here. I'm begging you. Talk to me.
You must trust me, my son.
No.
You are not ready yet.
You are the one who should trust me. Tell me what's happening.
You would never believe me.
I came all the way here for you. Now I've found you. I'm ready, Mother.
If only... Louis, I have always taught you to keep your mind open and rational. I know you are going to find this hard to believe, but what I am going to reveal to you is entirely true. Many years ago, I found out that demons really do live among us.
I beg your pardon?
And that they can influence our thoughts.
What?
Mother, listen to yourself. I know you're exhausted, but for crying out loud, listen to what you're saying. Demons? What next? An ancient monster with a head like an octopus? What do your demons look like?
Deja Cthulhu en
Have
paz,
they
perro.
horns and a pointed tail?
No, these are not creatures with billy goat's legs. Forget your Christian folklore. Imagine them more as parasitic spirits. They possess their hosts and direct them from inside.
Parasitic spirits?
Yes, they are capable of going from one body to another as they see fit. And 2 of them are present on this island.
Right. So let me guess. Lord Mortimer and Sir Gregory, right?
You felt it too?
No, even if Home does look the part. But I don't know who else could do it, given that we're on their territory.
Many years ago, well before you were born, I crossed paths with one of them. Since then, I've spent my life trying to find it again. When we recovered the Al-Azif, I was persuaded that von Burchard was working for this demon in one way or another. But I thought he would hand the book to a middleman during this conference. That's where I made an error that could well turn out to be fatal. The one who Burchard was meant to give the book to was none other than the demon in person, Mortimer. Not to mention that Home had sent Volner to get it for him.
Home and Mortimer are demons?
They both seem to disagree about many things, but I'll admit I never knew exactly why. There are many of them, Louis. Not just those 2.
Mother, have you any proof to support any of this?
Of course, but you do too. You had everything laid out in front of you. Didn't you notice anything?
I went beyond the nightmare, Mother.
You understood the Masonic date.
1191.
Of course! It was during that siege that the demon took possession of Sir Mortimer. They spent a whole night in conversation until the early hours of the morning. Mortimer had passed the test. He had charmed the demon, and so it chose him to be its
Nada que ver, yo no
for
pensaba que no tenía
centuries
nada
to
que ver
come.
con esas fantasías
But
y
tell
así.
me,
What?
did you find his secret study?
I did indeed.
Did you see his maps of the world?
He has contacts the world over.
Yes, I've been developing the Golden Order across the world for many years, and I've never seen anyone with such influence. It's simply inhuman.
Aguante.
You mean the conference?
How can you explain that someone manages to bring together so many important figures without anyone knowing?
And without any security or personnel.
También buen punto, ¿eh?
Well, those property deeds across the world, all signed by the same hand and over several centuries.
I am proud of you, Louis.
I found your notes written in lemon juice.
Where all eyes size you up. At one stage, I was so afraid of losing my mind that I noted everything down. Congratulations, Louis. Wait, please tell me you didn't open Pandora's box.
The urn? No, I didn't. Why?
Good. We'll deal with it later.
I must admit, I found it difficult to understand how and why Mortimer didn't have a place in history.
On the continent, Mortimer and Home are mere dandies who organize society balls. History forgets them with a disconcerting facility. No one speaks about them, and yet they whisper in the ears of kings and presidents. Louis, I am proud of you. You came all this way. You found me. You have surpassed me.
You taught me everything I know. Right.
Efectivamente.
How did it all begin?
I saw him.
What the fuck?
What do you mean you saw him?
I was 20 years old. I was young and
mames,
carefree.
eso fue hace que un chingo de
I
años.
traveled the
Capaz
world
él ya
in search of
tiene
adventure. In
demencia
the
senil, güey,
Persian
no
Gulf,
mames.
we came across an ancient grimoire that became unlocked. Composed of 7 parts, each one was a book in itself, set in a sort of metal armor that structured the whole thing. When all the volumes were brought together, they formed a single book. On my return to Paris, I set to studying these pages. I spent all my days and nights studying them.
Oh, I can imagine you doing that.
But the writing was in a language I had never seen before, developed well before Sumerian, in my opinion. So I got the idea to form a small occult circle composed of all the major names in the occult world to see if anyone else could crack it.
And you found no one.
And I found someone, Louis. I found him, or rather he found me. He was young, charismatic, he was flamboyant.
Excéntrico.
You mean Mortimer?
He was a veritable mine of knowledge. I showed him the book, and he was able to decipher a few passages. We spent several months together studying the pages. He helped me understand certain passages until I realized that he only translated a few parts for me. But I had aroused his interest. It was too late.
How so?
I mean to say he manipulated me. He used me, and in the end, he stole the book with all its secrets.
Did he ever go to your place?
Not once. At least I don't think so. But before disappearing, he proposed a pact between us. He proposed that I follow him and let him teach me, allow him to bring me up.
And you refused, of course.
Why, naturally, Louis. You don't make deals with the devil. After that, I spent my whole life looking for him. 3 years later, in Berlin, I just missed him. In London, I lost 6 members of the order in a chase. In 1741, in Tunisia, I found a sect of fanatics who had crossed paths with him once. 1741, in Poland. 1749, in India.
8 years ago in Venice.
We agreed never to speak about what happened in Venice, Louis.
You agreed, and that was before you spoke to me about demons. Wait, the baby we delivered, you and me, that night in Venice, did he have anything to do with Lord Mortimer?
The child was his son.
We stole his son?
What?
Are you insane? I always thought we took him to save him.
That was the case. It was precisely to save him from his father.
Did I remind you the mother died during childbirth? What became of the child?
Later. For the moment, that is not the key issue here. Once we found the Al-Azif in Paris, I followed von Borchart's trail here. I didn't think it would lead me straight to the demon. It was careless of me. He toyed with me for a few days, until I caught on, until I saw him as he was. But he had no intention of letting me leave. We are all his pawns, Louis, and if we don't want to spend the rest of our lives turning round in circles here, we must absolutely get off this island. All right, can we move on?
Wait a minute, one last thing. I want to know what happened with Elizabeth Adams.
Louis, we haven't time for those details.
I'm sorry, Mother, but I want to know.
She was one of the receptacles for these monsters. I met her parents when she was born. One of the demons got inside her. The demon used her to spy on her father, John Adams. He is one of the founding fathers and vice president of the United States, you know.
Mortimer possessed her?
No, I don't think it was Mortimer. Her father, John Adams, hired me to tend to her, but the evil in her was too deep. In spite of the various treatments I tried on her, I never succeeded in getting it out of her. It's not something I'm proud
Pinches
of,
tratamientos
Louis,
pendejos, güey.
but
En
I
lugar de
had to
aplicar un
try
exorcismo, en plan.
everything.
Good. I think that's about right. We shall speak about it once we get back to France.
Great actions for humanity have been decided by demons for centuries, Louis. They are playing with our destiny. We are their slaves. And it's time for it to stop. By the way, what was Mortimer's project at this conference?
He wants the United States to occupy all the North American territory. France should recover Louisiana and give it to the United States. In that case, the Americans would just have to push west to chase the Spanish from the continent once and for all.
And as Mortimer controls Washington, you may just as well say that it will put him at the head of a world superpower. We should do our utmost to put a stop to Mortimer's plans. But for the time being, there are more pressing matters.
¿Cómo?
Are you gonna tell me why we're here?
Está largo este capítulo, ¿eh?
There. That's why we are here.
¿Jesús? Bethesda. Wait, what? ¿Falta una pieza? What the fuck? ¡Oh! Excelente. A ver, 4 puntos. Desvíos, no. Erudición. Ajá, manipulación, sí. Y robo. Venga, eso. Y... agilidad, no. Lógica, venga. La lógica se me sirve bastante. Hay muchos que no aplican la lógica. Así que...
Reassure me, we aren't going to have to force that one, are we?
I don't think we're even capable of doing it. You're going to have to find a way to open it.
Why, of course. And what's inside?
Something to vanquish them with?
Perfect. So, how does it open?
We'll need several keys. I found a note from the architect who conceived the mechanism in Mortimer's secret study. We have to first gather 5 objects before we try anything.
Are the 5 objects the keys?
Exactly. We have the Clement III cross, the nails, the Gutenberg Bible, the exegesis of Judas, an armillary sphere, and all we need to match up the dates between the different calendars.
Excelente. Salud del juego y le continuamos mañana. Por ahorita, hasta aquí quedamos. Sale pues, Chabelardo, nos vemos. Cuídense.